Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hear, O Israel, Jehovah God, Jehovah is one. And thou shalt love Jehovah thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all thy might. And these words which I command these days shall be upon thy heart. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk with them when thou sittest in thy house, when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. And thou shalt bind the for a sign upon thy hand, and thou shalt be for frontness between thine eyes. And thou shalt write them upon the doorposts of thy house, and upon thy gates. And it shall be, when Jehovah thy God shall bring thee unto the land which he swore unto thy father, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great goodly cities thou didst not. And houses full of all good things that thou fillest not.
And houses full of all good things which thou didst not fill, and cisterns throughout which thou didst not hew, vineyards and olive trees which thou didst not plant, and thou shalt eat and be full therein. Beware this thou forget Yah, who brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt fear Yah thy God, and him shalt thou serve, and by his name shalt thou swear. You shall not go after other gods, the gods of the people that live around about you. For Yah thy God is a jealous God. Even Yah thy God is the name, is in the midst of thee. Lest the anger of Yah thy God be kindled against thee, and he destroy thee from the face of the earth. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Psalm 124. If it had not been for Yah who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been for Yah who was on our side, when men rose up against thee, then they had swallowed us up when the wrath was kindled against thee. Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul. Then the proud waters have gone over our soul. Blessed be Yah who have not given us as a prey to their teeth. Thy soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers, and the snare is broken, and we are escaped. Our help is in the name of Yah, who made heaven and earth. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Jehovah, and to sing praises to thy name one more time. Show forth thy loving kindness in the morning, and thy faithfulness every night. Upon the instruments of the ten strings, and upon the psaltery, upon the heart of the silent sound. For thy Yah has made me glad through thy work. I'll exalt to the works of thy hands. How great are thy works, O Yahweh, thy works are very deep. A foolish man knows not, and but a fool understand this, and that when the wicked spring up as grass, when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they may be sure forever. But thou, O Yahweh, are most high evermore. The Lord thy enemies, O Yahweh, the Lord thy enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horse shall exult at the corner of the wild ox. I am anointed with fresh oil. Mine eyes
Mine eyes also have seen the desire of my enemies, and my ears have heard the desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He has grown like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yah, they shall flourish in the courts of our God. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing. to show that Yah is upright. He is my rock. There is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah.
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 Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom, family. First and foremost, giving praise and honor to Yahweh, the King of the universe, creator of all things and everything. Secondly, giving due respect to Chief Prince Sapor, leader of Shema Yisrael. Due respect to Prince Nathaniel Ben Sapor and Prince Nathaniel Ben Levi. Shabbat Shalom, family. So I'm just gonna get straight into it. First of all, we are going to be speaking about a lesson predominantly based upon a specific quote that we came across and felt strongly about. So this quote says, "The more reflective you are, the more effective you are." So what does reflectiveness mean? We every day see or look into our reflection in a mirror, for example. However, this reflection that we're seeing is predominantly based on our exterior. We don't go deeper than that outer appearance, but that's not the reflection that we should be focused on our daily lives. So we need to go deeper beyond that. So the first place we're going to take you to is in Psalms 139, verse 1 to 4. Mm-hmm.
Yah, thou hast searched me and known me. Thou knowest my downsetting and mine uprising. Thou understandest my thought afar off. Thou knowest my path and my lying down, and art acquitted with all my ways. Excuse me. For there is not a word in my tongue, but lo, O Yah, thou knowest it all together.
So the reason we went there is to pretty much show that Father is speaking of him knowing of us, but all of these that he's speaking about is inner things, our thoughts, our speech, our actions. It's not focused on our exterior or our beauty as we tend to have our focuses on. Father is more into our thoughts, our speeches, our actions. But how often do we reflect on those things, which is really the important reflection piece that we need to have daily?
So we were also talking about places in the Tanakh where the Most High actually speaks, where it's shown that the Most High looks on the inside of a man and not his outward appearance. And that is during the time when the next king of Israel was supposed to be anointed, which was King David. That's found in 1 Samuel 16. This is when the prophet went to Jesse's house to anoint the next king. All of Jesse's sons was in the house except for David. So let's go there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 6.
Okay. 1 Samuel 16, verse 6 to 8. And it came to pass when they were come, and he behold Eliab, and said, Surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, Look not unto his countenance or on his height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For it is not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yahweh looketh on the heart.
Oftentimes we look and say, oh, their life must be great because they have the nice cars, or, they must be healthy because they have big muscles.
just simple things like that. And oh, they must be a great person because of whatever's going on the outside. And God is saying here is like, no, none of that matters. Nothing about what goes on the outside, how tall you are, how built you are, how nice you look. None of that says anything about a person's heart, which is what the Most High, which is why the Most High picked King David, because his heart was, everything about his heart was for God. That is also a big reason why the Most High spared him when he committed adultery. It had a lot to do with it had a lot to do with the love that he had for David, and that was because the love David had for God.
So we could also see in Joshua 8 more about this. Joshua 1:8. Let's go there first. Yeah, let's go to Joshua 1. Go ahead.
Joshua 1 verse 8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success.
Okay, so the reason we went here is because it speaks of you meditating, that you should meditate in the laws day and night. Because in doing this, you become mindful of your actions, of your thoughts, and your doings. But if you don't take that time out to meditate day and night, then we can bypass the things that we're doing and just go on continuously living life without making the necessary changes. So meditation is a necessary thing. We go about our daily actions and we don't necessarily sit back and think about ourselves. We spend a lot of time, though, looking at others and their actions, looking at their feeds on social media, commenting on their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But
which
all
is
of that,
not going to help us move forward in anything.
It would not at all help you personally. Instead of you taking all of that time to focus your energy and your attention on others, that's time that you could have had spent to meditate on your own self and your own actions, to meditate in the law and understand the things that you did right or even that you didn't do right and make those changes. One of our downfalls is that we are hard-headed people and we need often reminders, but we, quite frankly, tend to neglect those reminders that Father has actually given to us. For instance, our fringes. So if we go to Numbers 15:37.
And Yah spoke unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put them, upon the fringe of the borders a cord of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon them, and remember all the commandments of Yah, and do them. And that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, which ye use to go astray, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, to be your God. I am the Lord.
So let's take a minute to think, honestly, what are your fringes for? Are you using them for its purpose, or are we simply using them to identify someone? And if you're walking down the street and you see someone with fringes, you're going to say, oh, that's an Israelite, that's a brother, that's a sister. But it says here that we are to look upon them for it to be a reminder of the commandments. So as you're going about your daily life, and you're doing things in the life, whatever it may be. For example, if I'm walking into a restaurant that I'm not supposed to be walking into, are you looking down upon the corners of your garment and saying, hey, hold up, this is my reminder that Yah has given to me? Or am I just steady looking forward and not reflected in at the reminders that Father has provided for us? So this is just to say that, once again, we need to have our focus turned back towards ourselves. Take the time to think about the things you're doing. Look down on your fringes constantly, and teach your children too. These fringes have a purpose. It's so that you can be reminded continuously, hey, I am Yah's child, and I need to abide by his laws. When people see you in the street and they see you with these fringes and they ask you what it's for, let them know. People are constantly seeing the fringes, and it's a constant reminder for other people. Everybody else knows how to put you in check because of them, but are you using it for that purpose? That's the true question. So once again, turn that attention back towards yourself and have that self-reflection. Okay. Genesis 6:5. Go ahead, I'll tell you what to start.
Okay. Genesis chapter 6, verse 5. And Yah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil. And he repent, and it repented God that he had made man in earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And Yah said, I will destroy man who I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the earth. For it reproached me that for it repenteth me that I have made them. But Noah found grace in the eyes of God.
So I brought us here to point out that even Father took time to reflect on his creation. He created everything in earth, man, creature, everything in this earth. But there was a time when he stepped back and he said, he wasn't very pleased. He saw things in the earth that was wickedness, but in all of that, he also saw something positive. He saw Noah. He felt that Noah was still living, a good life the way he intended. Now, not to say that Father's creation was a mistake, but in his stepping back and observing, if Father, God, can reflect and say, everything is not working here. There was good in the earth, there was Noah, but then there were others that was bad and he was, not pleased with. And because of this, he said he wanted to do away with everything else. So for us, we can mimic this in a sense and take time to reflect and say, hey, what is good? What is working and what is not? And if you can identify and you can clearly see or acknowledge something that is not working, then that means that you should get rid of it. Just like Father did. He was unpleased with the rest of the earth because of all the wickedness that was going on. And he had to do away with it. He just built off of the strength, Noah and his family, and was able to make changes and move forward from there, focusing on that positive aspect, which is something that in a reflection, you're going to see positive things, you're going to see negative things, but now you have to decipher and flush out the bad and focus on the positive and build from there. So self-reflection, though the word begins with self, it doesn't even necessarily have to only come from oneself. Self-reflection could be something that was inspired by something someone else said to you. I don't know. Say
somebody brings something to your attention about a character flaw that you have.
My husband might say to me, Stace, I don't like your stinky attitude right now. And in the heat of the moment, I might not take heed to that. I might not really think about it. But later on, if I take a second to step back and say, well, what was so stinky or whatever, then I can have that time to myself to now think about my actions, my thoughts, whatever it may be, my speech that may have affected someone else. And if I'm wise, I will make that change. The whole purpose of reflecting is so that you can, in turn, have some sort of a change. Because if you bring it right back to that quote, it says, the more reflective you are, the more effective you are. So the only time you can be effective is if you have this continuous cycle of seeing what's working, what's not working, and making change. If you're not going to make the change, then the reflection is pointless. Yep. So with that said, I hope that we didn't mislead anyone. You didn't misinterpret anything that we were trying to say. I hope that you got something out of this lesson. It was very short and brief, but it was something that is definitely needed for us to spend time on ourselves and soul searching, if you will. So, Shabbat Shalom. I pray that everyone has a beautiful Shabbat day. You want to say a prayer?
Yeah. Okay,
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
The name of Yah is a tower of strength. Do not grieve, for the joy of Yah is your strength. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteousness right hand. Yah is my strength and my song. He has given me victory. This is my God, and I will praise him. My Father's God, and I will exalt him. Yah is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Those who seek Yah lack no good thing. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. It is Yah who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not fail you or forsake you. Do not fear, be dismayed. The eternal Yah is your refuge. When the righteous cry for help, Yah hears and rescues them from all their troubles. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, family. I pray that everyone has a blessed night and makes it out Shabbat to enjoy a beautiful day with the family tomorrow at Shema, if possible. I pray, Father, that I pray that Father is with everyone. Good night. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.